are we witnessing the birth of a new football dynasty here, or it's just that momentary craze? Because if you go back, I'm sure David would tell us about a team called Ndochi at some point. They will tell you about Motor Action, the pizzazz around that team. They will tell you about Gunners as well, you know, Amazulu. The list is long, you know. FC Platinum also coming to the fore, Ngezi Platinum. All these teams came with a lot of, you know, hype around them. But are we witnessing here a birth of a new football dynasty, or it's just that momentary craze?
I think looking at the ambitions that they showed us, since even before the start of the season, looking into their signings, how much they spent into trying to make this institution of theirs work, it shows that these are guys who have ambitions to come and stay. But for us to call them a giant rising in football, we need results as well, because the hype alone is not enough. So we might look at it from both angles. Looking at their camp, they have the big names who can grind a result on any day. And if we are talking about championship, I wouldn't want to lie. I won't mince my words. I think for me, I'm looking at a team that can contend for the championship. Mm-hmm. But we also don't take away the hype that comes with what they are doing in their camp. So the numbers are following what they have seen, what they have been given, what they have been shown by the club. So obvious it goes hand in hand. A giant in the making, also gaining traction within the fans.
Mr. Titch, let's talk about the impact from some of the stuff that Vero has just, highlighted, the impact that they have brought. Has it shaken some of the clubs?
I think they've had a very disruptive influence, and when you use the word disruptive, it sounds very negative, but I think our football was in a slumber for such a long time in terms of engagement, interest. You know, it'll be me, you, David, and Veronica, the diehard fans who would sit here every week in, week out, talk about the game. But just leaning into the example that Veronica gave about even her own mum, and you could tell even with the surprise in her voice that even she didn't anticipate that there was going to be that kind of engagement. So for me, I think they have, as much as we talked about Gunners, Amazulu, Motor Action, but you mentioned some critical numbers there. You highlighted the WhatsApp channel, you highlighted the Facebook following. I think the advantage that Scotland have is the way we are consuming content now, and I think I think they're a content creating powerhouse. I don't know if they're a football powerhouse, yes, but and part of that content is the games that they play. I think that's why they've been able to.
Hang on. They are a power content creating, so they're a powerhouse in that.
In content creation, I mean they have flipped the game upside down.
In content creation.
In content creation.
Okay. And they. Let's come to you, David. You have gone through the mill. What do I mean? You played the game, and you have seen teams, starting with Blake Aces. You have seen teams, evolving, teams coming and going. And from the history that you've been told, you remember when Black Rhinos was formed in 1982, coming in 1984, they won the league championship. But it was, the hype they came with, taking every good player on offer, and all the other teams that we have mentioned. Is this something new to you, or you know what? Man, what's your take?
No, my experience in football, Howard, taught me that you have to respect those individual owned clubs, because remember, it's not easy to know where in a power like it in Scotland, and Amazulu did that, and they went on to win the league. I think after so many years, but you try win a league. Blackpool, the same. They came in. I think 2 years later they took most of the players from Darren and then Luis Bongira, Stuart Morisa, Edobert Dina, all those guys, but I not go in a league. From there, you have Parara. But then at this Scotland is going that way. Because those guys, I think, because Kwankusina, social media, like what teachers just said, Kuti, now because of social media, the hype is, up there at the top. Scotland is up there at the top. They are trying their best to market their team. They are trying their best to bring in new initiatives, especially the member-driven initiative. It's very, very, very important, because you look at the numbers that are there, job creations that they're doing now, because they want to build a 10,000 to 15,000 seater stadium in Mavuku. That's another project that will bring in maybe employment. Kune vamwe vakomana vechidiki nevamwe vasikana futi vechidiki kokoko vanenge vachiwana mabasa. Amazulu tried to do that, and they bought a clubhouse somewhere in Bulawayo there. Vanga vatena again for all their players anenge achibva outside Bulawayo to come in and stay there. Vakatsvaga futi stadium yavakanga vaita vakutry kuda kudevelopa futi. Now I think Bulawayo Chiefs ezvinezvi, because they tried also to do that, but hazvina kunyatsokuzomba vafambira. They won the league, yes, in 2003, but after that yakabva yangoparara. And then you look at Motor Action, they came in, they won the league as well, and I was part of the Motor Action team that was there in 2001, and it was a very good project for the late Eric Rosen and his wife. So ndikuti nini zvauya zvaitwa neScotland at the moment, we need to applaud that award. They brought in professionalism. They're bringing in something to talk about. Yeah, a team that is paying well their players, and everyone wants to go and see the best players. Zatina Zom Zimbabwe, the ones that we are calling the best because of last season, they were playing for different teams. They brought in those players. You look at their coach Tondera Ndirai. I think by winning the league title last year, they have also invested in him. They sent him to Turkey, kuti paanodzoka, and it angane imwe vision yaanenge achiona in building his team, the type of play that team wants them to play as well. But to me, we need to see more steps being taken by Scotland, kuti tuone zveshuwa kuti they are here
to stay
for the future. Yeah.